Hello, much I know. Today I am reviewing Chanel's famous Allure. I say Allure, but Allure would be the posh way to say it. Yeah, always a little bit nervous and scary when I do things that are so famous, because what's to say that hasn't been said already about them? I've always got my opinion and I will give it to you. So this came out in 1996. It's one of the, what I consider to be newer fragrances in terms of Chanel's longevity of fragrances. I would say this is for the more modern woman. I hate to put things in boxes, but I do for review purposes, like I always say. It's an oriental floral, and I'm reviewing the Eau De Toilette version. There is an Eau De Parfum version, and there are differences between them in composition or the way that they smell, but I can't comment on that because I haven't got them side by side. I have smelled both, but this one I'm obviously more familiar with because I have it. I got mine in a swap recently, which I'm really pleased about. So, yeah, mine's the 50ml one. I can show you the box, but you know, Chanel are always very simplistic in their packaging and their clothing. So it's just a peachy plain box. You must have seen it a million times before. It's got that logo on the top. It's got gold rims everywhere. And the bottle, I always love Chanel's simplistic way of bottling their perfumes. It's just a rectangle with Allure on it. Allure. Allure. I need to practice saying that. Yeah, it says Chanel there on the lid. I mean, I don't need to show you it close up, or do I? I don't know. Kind of pale peachy liquid as well, which is very reflected in the way that it smells, I must say that. So the notes are lemon, mandarin, I put mandarin, put that wrong, didn't I? Bergamot and peach. Peach is really prominent in this. I feel peach when I wear it. Then you've got May Rose, or Rose de Mai in French. I've actually got some of that. It's a really full-bodied rose. It's a lot sweeter. It's just a lot more powerful, and it's a lot rarer as well. Then you've got jasmine, water lily, orange blossom, peony and magnolia. And then the base is sandalwood, vetiver and vanilla. So before I start rambling on about it, I'll tell you what it says on the Chanel website about this fragrance, only because it's so famous. So it's nice to get a little bit of bump on what Chanel was thinking when they made this. So it says, the very definition of elegance according to Mademoiselle Chanel, charismatic and natural, a floral, fresh, oriental fragrance in 6 facets. I find that very interesting, that finds an expression unique to each woman, because every woman has her own special allure. Gabrielle Chanel preferred a simple silhouette without pretense, asserting a style that goes beyond trends. A natural elegance conveyed more in the way clothing is worn than the clothing itself. A certain concept of beauty that Mademoiselle summarised in a single word that speaks of movement, self-evidence, uniqueness. Allure. It's a great name for a fragrance. I mean, it really, really is. It makes you just want to buy it, or at least smell it. So it says, difficult to define. I completely agree with that. Impossible to resist. I'm not too sure. Allure is the fragrance of a true radiant woman with natural elegance, a woman who stands out through her gaze, her presence, her grace, and her charisma. And then the last little bit says, a floral, fresh, oriental fragrance that is refined and elegant. It reveals its 6 facets in a way that is unique to each woman, a composition that combines the sparkling notes of mandarin, the softness of rose, and the sensuality of vanilla. So, quite a lot going on there. I'm not sure what these 6 facets are. I wouldn't say it's complicated enough to have 6 facets, I will say that. Sorry to all the fans, or people that really, really wear this as a signature. I don't find it that complex. But what I'll say about it is this. I'm going to spray it on me. First of all, I really, really enjoy wearing this. I know I probably shouldn't, because I'm not the graceful woman with a silhouette and all of that stuff, but I think that this is quintessentially Chanel smelling. They do have a way of stamping their signature on their fragrances. You can tell that this is Chanel straight away. It is one of the more modern ones. Obviously we're in 2015 now, and this is 1996, but this was the new modern lot of fragrances that came out. And it still holds a tiny nod to something a little bit vintage. It still has a tiny spark of something that just feels that little bit glamorous and classic, even though it's a modern fragrance, and that's what I really like about it. So, but what does it actually smell like? When they say it's difficult to define, they aren't wrong, because I go back and forth from thinking, gosh, this is beautiful, to this could be perceived as boring, because nothing sticks out, it's not groundbreaking in any way, it's not so contemporary that people are going to say, oh my gosh, what are you wearing? It's just so easy to wear, and it's almost like Chanel have stamped their brand on you, basically. That's what I feel like when I wear this. It's still nice to go, oh, Chanel. But yeah, what does it actually smell like? To me, it smells like something peachy. I said before, peach really kind of features in this. It's like an orangey peach kind of fragrance. Although there's loads of flowers in the heart of it, it's never overly floral. It's more, I would say, kind of fruity glamorous than anything else. And the vanilla in this acts perfectly. Vanilla is really nice when it overtakes a blend and you get that sweet kind of cakey edible smell. Vanilla in this is done very well where it just kind of glosses over everything. It's kind of like the glue that holds it all together. It never goes vanilla-y as such. It just feels, sandalwood as well, quite a sensual note. There is an element of sensuality to this, but to me it's really more fruity in a very classy way, if that makes any sense at all. Sometimes it's really hard to describe fragrances, but that's what I'm here for. So yeah, you get the citruses, just like a tinge of citruses when you first spray it, but it immediately turns into what it's supposed to be. And to me, I would describe it as a nondescript floral. I wouldn't say that there is anything that sticks out in this more than the other. I don't know if that's because I just don't know or not, but I can usually pick out some flowers. It really just kind of goes into one thing that is a bubble of Chanel elegance that's kind of peachy and orangey at the same time. And like I said, with a nod to something a little bit throwback and glamorous, but mainly it's modern. This is, sorry, my hay fever is going crazy today. It's, yeah, it's kind of a contradiction in that way. So as much as I go on about it, reformulations and things like that, this has been reformulated. Most Chanel fragrances have been reformulated. I've never smelled the original, so I don't know. But longevity wise, I'm not going to say that it's too great as well, considering the price tag. I reapply this quite a lot. I got my bottle only a few weeks ago in a swap, and I've used pretty much half of it already actually. I'm an oversprayer, I do admit that as well, but longevity is not so good. And it does stay linear. It's a one-trick pony. I hate saying things like that when it's something that's quite revered, but yeah, it doesn't really develop too much over time. It kind of just fades out, and yeah, it stays the same, but I'm happy with the smell most of the time. So it's got so many positives and so many negatives, but that's what a review is for, I guess, isn't it? Would I say it's alluring? No, but it's definitely beautiful, and it's definitely gorgeous as well. It's just not got so much character that it's super interesting, and that's why I go back and forth by thinking, oh my god, my nose is itching. This would be the one, if you don't know what to wear one day, if you're just kind of, oh, I don't know what to go, and you're tinkering around in your collection. Oops, my camera cut me off. But what I was saying is, this is what I mean. I go back and forth between thinking, is it really cool, or is it a plain Jane fragrance? And I don't mean the people that wear it, I mean in terms of how it smells. Do I love it because it's Chanel, or is it really something quite simple? That's why I say it's a good old faithful. If you don't know what to wear, if you're tinkering through your collection, you could probably just pick this out and be happy with the choice you've made. So yeah, that's kind of it really. I love it, but sometimes I think, yeah. So I'm Match110. That's my review of Chanel Allure. Click my logo to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Thank you, bye bye.